Hi, thank you for joining us today. We will be assembling a desktop PC from custom parts.
Specifically the tower, RAM memory, the video card, the CPU and CPU fan, DVD drive, floppy drive, hard drive, power supply, which is included with the case most of the time, CPU paste, keyboard, mouse, power cables, and Phillips screwdrivers.
Before you begin to assemble the computer, make sure that you have all the parts required and that you have plenty of patience. Good luck!
The first step is to mount the CPU on the motherboard. To do this, we're going to take the CPU and we're going to look at the little arrow on this in the corner of the CPU, and we're going to match that little arrow with a little shaved off piece at the slot of the CPU on the motherboard. We're going to take the CPU, we're going to place it, we're going to close the little guard, you're going to pull the lever, and you finish step 1. Now we're going to apply the CPU paste. It's an Arctic 10 CPU paste. We're going to apply it to the custom fan that we have. You're just going to take the little syringe and just spray a little bit on the fan. Just a little bit, maybe make like 3 little stripes. You then want to take something like, we use a little credit card, an old credit card, whatever. And you're just going to spread the paste as best you can. You want to try to avoid getting this paste on your clothing because it is very hard to wash off. So, again, apply a generous amount of paste, but don't overdo it. So, once you've pretty much filled up the area, what you want to do is go on to the next step. The next step is to take the fan and secure it to the motherboard. To do this, the fan has these little things that you put the screws on. You're going to take them and you're going to slide them into place on each side. So you have 2 of them. You're going to put 2 on each side. You just simply slide over. Perfect. Then you're going to match the fan with the holes on the motherboard. Again, making sure you have paste at the bottom. As you can see, I have my paste at the bottom. I'm going to place it over the CPU. At the same time, get the screws to go in. Perfect. We've done 1, 2. Now you're going to use your screwdriver and you're just going to secure it.
Next, you're going to take your 2 DIMMs in memory, which are 1 GB each, and insert them into the motherboard. And what you want to do is line them up with the black tracks, and if this slot doesn't match that bar, turn it around. Make sure that it's lined up on both the left and right side, and just push down until you hear it click.
The next step is to put the motherboard inside of the tower. And to do that, first you need to open the tower. In this case, the tower opens just by simply pulling the cover off, and then you go inside. In other cases, you may have to unscrew the screws from the side of the computer, but for us, that's all that we need to do. Next, you want to make room inside, so you're going to take all the cables and put them to the side. And you'll notice that all the cables, like fans, and a lot of cables coming from the memory, from the power supply. So I'm gonna hide all those cables. This step probably takes the most patience because I need to be the most careful because it involves the motherboard. So if you look inside, there are these little gold slots. and this is where you need to put the holes from the motherboard. So you're going to need to match the holes, as you will see, the holes of the motherboard to there. So we're going to look on this side. We only have 2, so we can't put it there because we need 3. So we know that the motherboard needs to go this way. One easy way to do it is to just grab the motherboard from the fan. I'm doing, and this is one of the easiest ways to do it. Now I want to put the motherboard inside. You want to very, very carefully maneuver the motherboard inside with all the cables there. One more thing that you need to look out for is this part of the motherboard, because it will need to match up with this part right here, as you see. So this is the easiest way to know where to put it. We're going to look there. We're going to try to put the motherboard inside. So once you get the motherboard in with the second pair of hands, you want to make sure there are no cables underneath, and you will look here to make sure that they all go in, and just gently push it in, just so you have a basic outline. And now, when you look inside, you will see that the holes will match the slots that we saw earlier, the gold slots. Now it's just a matter of taking the screwdriver and the screws that came with the motherboard and putting them inside to secure the motherboard. We're going to start in the corner. In this case, this is where you want to be very, very, very careful when you screw the screws on, because if you press too hard and your hand slips, you will scratch the motherboard, which will in turn make it possibly malfunction. So you don't want to do that.
This is the video card, and you're going to mount this into the motherboard. And to do that, you want to take the spacings and line it up. Once you have it lined up, you want to press it down. And then once you have it pressed down, you want to screw it in. This is the hard drive. We're going to mount this into the motherboard by first mounting the slider onto the hard drive. You're going to do that by lining up the screws with these 4 holes. And screwing them in. Okay, next we're going to take the hard drive and insert it into the case, and we're going to do that. You want to make sure the top of the hard drive is facing up, and you're just going to line it up with the slots and push it in until it clicks.
Next, with the DVD-ROM that we're going to start to the motherboard, we need to attach the sliders, which come with the case. So we're going to screw this in.
After mounting all the parts onto the motherboard onto the case, and putting the hard drive, the CD, the DVD-ROM, and the floppy, what you want to do next is connect all the cables. So you're going to take the fans. You're going to, depending on your motherboard, you're going to connect them in different places. So for our motherboard, we're going to connect them in specific places. Most of the time, all of the time, the motherboard comes with instructions as to where each thing should be plugged in. So please follow those instructions, because that way you will plug in the proper things. Once you have assembled all the parts and connected all the cables, what you want to do is obviously close the lid. Again, you just press down until it clicks, and you have your computer.
The next step is to take the monitor cord, and you want to plug it in where the pins match up, and just push it right in. Next, you want to plug in your mouse, which you simply put it into one of the USB ports. If it doesn't go in at first, just turn it around and it should slide right in. Do the same for the keyboard. Last but not least, you plug in the power cord into the power supply, and then you plug it into the wall, and you're done. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope that our video has enabled you to be able to build your own computer.
Thank you, and take care of your computer.